Okay, here this is a video on how to make a gasket for a Schlage Encode Wi-Fi lock. The problem I'm having is I'm having moisture intrusion from the outside and into the electronics, and it's damaging the electronics. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a gasket out of this is a piece of bicycle inner tube. I've chosen this because it's nice and pliable, fairly thick, so I think it'll give me a good seal. What I've done is I've taken this plate, which mounts on the inside of the assembly and attaches to the door, and I've outlined it, and now I'm going to cut this gasket to the shape of that mounting plate. All right, this is take two of making the gasket material. After I cut the first one here and test mounted the plate on the door, I realized I should have left more material up here so that I get a good seal on the top of the plate, because the cutout of the door is right at the edge there. And so if you leave about 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch of material, it'll ensure that you get a good seal and that no air can get by the top of that faceplate. All right, now that the gasket is cut, we have to make a couple of holes in it to pass the control wire through, and 3 holes to put the mounting bolts and the part that actually turns the bolt. So we're going to try to keep these holes as tight as possible because we want the rubber to seal back around these screws to make sure no moisture can get by them. This is going to be our moisture barrier. All right, so this is what it looks like with the outside piece keypad mounted and the plate on the inside mounted. And this is the gasket right here. You can see why I was talking about leaving a little bit of extra material. Make sure you seal off right at the top here of the faceplate. If you look close, you can see the rubber gasket is nice and snug around the bolt piece. These screws were passed through really tiny holes, just barely big enough for them to slide through, so that the rubber seals off against it. And the same here with the control cable. You can see how the rubber is sealed off around that control cable. In fact, I see a little bit of a gap there. I'm probably going to daub some silicone on that just to make sure it's sealed up completely. This is about as tight as I can make this thing.